In a world that's constantly screaming, more, more, have you ever found yourself just wanting, well, less? Less noise, less wanting, and a whole lot more peace. It feels like such a modern problem, doesn't it? But what if the answer is hiding in a really, really old story? Let's dive in.
So, let's just start with the biggest question of them all, one that people have been asking for thousands of years. What's the real reason we suffer? Where does all our unhappiness actually come from?
And you know what? This is not a new problem. Far from it. An ancient, very wise king was once asked this exact question. And his answer wasn't some complicated explanation. Nope, it was a story. A powerful story all about desire.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story takes us way back to the ancient land of Hastinapura. And here we meet two very important people. A truly noble king named Yudhishthira and a wise sage who was known for his wisdom, Narada.
Now you gotta understand, Yudhishthira wasn't just any king. This guy was famous, and I mean famous, for being incredibly fair, super honest, and just. He was the kind of leader who always tried to do the right thing.
So one day, the sage Narada shows up at the king's court with a real brain teaser. He asks the king, of all the living things in this entire world, what is the single most mysterious one?
The king thinks about it for a second, and his answer is kind of surprising. He says the most mysterious creature is us, human beings. Why? Because we have this incredible power to reason, to choose our own path, and to pretty much create our own destiny.
Narada nods along, but then he digs a little deeper. He says, okay, fair enough. But what's the one thing that trips up even the smartest, wisest people? What is it that leads us down the wrong road and makes us miserable?
And the king's answer to this is just so simple and so powerful. He says it is desire. That constant, nagging feeling of wanting something. That, he says, is the true source of all our pain.
And to prove his point, the king doesn't give some complex philosophical argument. He just uses his own family as an example. He holds up his own way of ruling against his cousin, Duryodhana. While Yudhishthira was all about fairness, Duryodhana was just eaten up by his desires. He was completely driven by envy and greed.
I mean, Duryodhana's desire to rule the whole kingdom was like a fire that could never be put out. It was an obsession, and it was so strong that it plunged the entire land into a horrible, devastating war. It caused so much suffering for absolutely everyone. Talk about proof, right?
But here's the hopeful part. The story doesn't just end there, in all that suffering. Right in the middle of all the chaos, a divine guide shows up, Lord Krishna. And he's the one who shows them the way out of this trap of desire. So this brings us from the problem to the solution, which is the part we all want to hear, right? So what was Krishna's big advice? What is this path to finally overcoming desire and finding some real peace?
Okay, his first teaching is all about detachment. Now, this doesn't mean you can't want things. That's not it at all. It's about being in the driver's seat. It means you learn to manage your wants so they don't end up managing you.
The second big idea is duty, or dharma. And this is all about focusing on what you're supposed to do, your responsibilities. It's about keeping your promises and just handling your business, whether it's big stuff or small stuff. And the third key, this one is huge, is selflessness. This means doing things for other people without expecting to get anything back. No reward, no pat on the back, not even a thank you. You just act out of a desire to serve. So, when you boil it all down, the path to peace is really these 3 steps. Step 1, master your desires. Step 2, fulfill your duties. And step 3,
act without being attached to what happens next.
Okay, I know you might be thinking, that's all great for some ancient king, but what does it have to do with me, right here, right now? Well, let's connect this ancient wisdom to our actual everyday lives.
Here's how you can actually start practicing this stuff. For detachment, just try to find happiness in what you already have, not just what you're chasing. For duty, it's simple. Just keep your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And for selflessness, try doing one small, kind act for somebody without telling anyone about it.
Because at the end of the day, the message of this story is crystal clear. When we focus less on what we want for ourselves and more on our responsibilities and how we can help other people, our lives just become more peaceful, more meaningful, and way more fulfilling.
And so, let's end with a question, just for you. Take a moment and really think about it. What is just one desire? It could be big, it could be small, that you could practice letting go of just for today.